Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today, bringing you guys and gals One Piece. Yeah. One Piece. Chapter reviews. Today, One Piece chapter 799, Parent and Child. If you haven't seen the live reaction to the chapter just yet, in this corner right here, blah, as well as the link in the box below. Now, this week's chapter of One Piece, the ending is shocking. It's a very shocking ending, and I mean, the potential for Luffy as the potential for the Straw Hat crew has now spiked. However, in my mind, it's too soon. I will explain why in full detail. Okay, in full detail. So if you want to get the full scope of what the King of Lightning thinks about this chapter, stick around. Because when I saw some of the comments in the live reaction, some folks understood what I was saying, but the majority of folks no. So I probably didn't express myself or articulate myself that well in live reaction, but hey, it's live reaction, alright? Live reaction is what? Mostly frills, some analysis. A review is the opposite. Quite the opposite. It is mostly analysis and some frills. Kind of. Most of the time. Well, I can't say all the time. Most of the time. So, here's the thing. The chapter this week, alright, let me focus on the ending part, because the ending part is where most of the meat is. And the rest of the stuff I'll get to later. So, first of all, a lot of folks are confusing an alliance with subordination. In this chapter, Bartolomeo, Cavendish, Ideo, and the others, they will be subordinates of Monkey D. Luffy. They will be a part of the Straw Hat pirate crew. In the chapter, Bartolomeo says, and I quote, altogether, and this from Manga Stream. On Manga Panda, it's like the same thing, kind of, but I'll read it anyway, because I have both. On Manga Stream, Bartolomeo says, and I quote, altogether, that makes 5,600 people, Luffy Senpai. Would you do us the honor of exchanging a cup of sake with the 7 representatives to form our parent-child relationship? Parent-child relationship. Not equal parties, parent and child. It's not Law and Luffy. It's not the Straw Hat and Heart Pirate Alliance. It is the Barto Club. It is whatever Cavendish party are called, the Hoppo Navy being a part of the Straw Hat Pirate crew. And I continue. Parent-child. That's right, baby. You're gonna be the big daddy boss now. And we're your underlings. Please would you grant us the honor of joining as subordinate crews under the flagship Straw Hat crew. It is subordination. It is the same thing as Ace and Whitebeard. Ace, when he joined the Whitebeard, well, he was the previous captain of the Spade Pirates. Whitebeard beat him in combat, and then Whitebeard, he brought him into the fold. It's the same thing as Drake. Drake took on Kaido. Kaido was like, boy, what are you doing? And then the Drake Pirates, or the T-Rex gang, they joined Kaido's crew. They're now part of Kaido's crew. And the same thing could be said of Capone, even though Capone, we don't know for sure if he's part of, we're pretty sure that he's part of Big Mom's crew. But either way, Capone, his gang, are now part of Big Mom's crew. It's the same thing here. They are a part of the Straw Hat crew. It's not equal parties. It's not like you have this pirate crew and this pirate crew and that pirate crew. So it's not like you have Kid, Hawkins, Apu come together for a common goal, which is to beat Shanks. Luffy and Law coming together for a common goal to beat Kaido. No, this is, we are your subordinates. We are members of the Straw Hat crew. And therefore, they will follow the Straw Hat crew. So let me clarify that, because in the live reactions, I think folks thought that what I meant was like they would follow them like island to island to island, as if like it was like a chain of ships, like a chain of ships. No. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. What I meant is I kind of alluded to it in the live reaction. Luffy is not Whitebeard, and I mean that in earnest. If Luffy accepts this, because he hasn't accepted it yet, he's offered this position, but he has not accepted it yet. But if Luffy accepts it, what's going to happen is basically Luffy, the Straw Hat crew, the main ship, they're going to be the trunk of the tree. And the branches will be the subordinate crews, the division commanders, if you would. Bartolomeo, Cavendish, Hideo, Hydruden, and so on and so forth. So what that means is they're going to go off and do other stuff. But at the end of the day, they're going to go right back to the Straw Hat crew. And the example of that is Whitebeard's crew. Where Whitebeard's crew, well, we would see in flashback. Not really in real time. We get it, we see it, but that was for like the war essentially. But in flashbacks, we get a clear understanding of what it is. It's for the most part, you have the main ships, and you have like, well, you have the main 4 ships. Then you have Whitebeard's main ship, Moby Dick, and you would always see division commanders on that ship, partying and chilling and whatnot. You would always see Ace and Thatch. What? I can't say his name right. Thatch. Shit. You see Ace. You see Thatch before he died. You would see Jozu. You would see Marco, Vista. Those are the 5 that I remember. The other ones, I forget their names. But there's 16 of them. And you would see them. And his entire crew was 1,000 plus people. That was his crew. So what would happen is Whitebeard would have his main ship voyage and do whatever he did, and then you have people like Ace go out and do like separate missions, and then they would come right back to the main ship. They'd come right back to the voyage with their ships. That's what I mean by following. It's a very similar system to Whitebeard's. You have the main ship, you have the trunk, the basin of the Straw Hat crew, the main ship, the Sun Ego, and then you have, on occasion, the other ships come out with their division commanders, and like they chill like for like separate arcs and whatnot. So like that's how it's gonna work. Okay. So an example would be, let's say they go over to Zou, and let's say you have Hydruden. He leaves to go get his giant friends, which I think are it's Dory, Brogy, it's Oimo, and Kashi, that guy. The 2 that were in his lobby that Usopp talked to, I think it's those 4 people. So he's going to go and get them. Hydruden's going to go and get them. And what he's going to do is that he's going to come back. He's going to go and get his boys. He's going to go talk to the giants or whatever. Then he's going to come right the fuck back. And continue to go with like Luffy. So they're going to do their thing, but they're going to come right back. Like branches are part of the tree. That's how it's going to work. Very similar to Whitebeard's crew. That's what I mean by following Luffy. So that should be clarified right then and there. So I think we're good. So like some folks understood that, but not a lot of folks did. So that was my bad for not clarifying in the live reaction. But again, it's live reaction, not a review. So the next thing that I want to talk about is when it comes to the reason why I think it's too damn early. Number 1, a lot of folks think, oh, well, it's chapter 800, therefore this has to happen. No, it doesn't matter what chapter number it is. Within the context of the story, understand that this is the first legitimate island in the new world that Luffy and company have reached. The first legitimate island on the map. Punk Hazard wasn't even a legitimate island. It wasn't even on the fucking map. It was off the damn radar. And Fishman Island was a year. And Shibuya Archipelago was like a few months when the time skip first started. But basically, Dressrosa is either the Little Garden or the Whiskey Peak of the New World. That's what Dressrosa is. Let me say that one more time. Dressrosa is the New World equivalent of Whiskey Peak or Little Garden. Motherfucker, the journey just started. The journey just started OD, son. OD. It's chapter 800. Don't mean shit, dog. I don't mean shit. This is Whiskey Peak, bitch. Of the new world. There's a ways to go. The journey is the destination. You get my point. So, that's number one. With the actual, and the new world is supposed to be bigger than the Grand Line, I think. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's the largest and the most dangerous half of the Grand Line. The next thing is, I'm worried that because you're going to have some of these, division commanders now, like Bartolomeo, like Cavendish, they're going to come into the fold at some point during these arcs. So let's say that they go to Wano Kuni. And Wano Kuni, you're going to have the main Straw Hats plus Bartolomeo, Cavendish, and let's say Orlumbus. And that's it. Let's say that Hydruden's still getting his giant friends. Sai's over in in Kano Kuni doing whatever. Leo's still in Dressrosa doing whatever. And then they'll come back and meet with Luffy later. So, what does that mean? That means that we're going to have extra characters to now flush out for character development. Because listen, you know how Oda works. Oda, if he has a character that's relevant in an arc, Oda's going to do his damnedest. He's going to do his damnedest to make sure that that character gets sufficient spotlight, sufficient amount of character development within the arc. He does it constantly. That's Oda's format. And that's going to increase the length of the story significantly. If he does that. So, the whole thing here is this. Instead of having to have other division commanders come in there for character development, why not just focus on just the main Straw Hats, have their character development mostly flushed out, and then put in the commanders, Bartolomeo and company, have them come into the fold later on in the story once Zoro, Nami, Sanji, especially Sanji, Brook, Nami, and Chopper, because they were fucking signed for like a year plus they were sidelined. Shit! So they need some spotlight and some character development and whatnot. They're lacking in comparison. So, all I'm saying is that let's focus on the main crew and their story and their character development, since not even these commanders have, let's say, goals and dreams as far as we know. Except for Bartolomeo, who loves Luffy OD, and Cavendish, who, well, I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, yeah, so you get my point. All right, let me leave it at that. And then finally, the best way to put it is like this. What I said before in live reaction, this opportunity is great. It is fantastic for taking on Yonko. Luffy is going to be now butting heads with Yonko. So Big Mom is hunting. She's out to get him. You have Kaido, who is the target of the Law Luffy Alliance. You have Shanks. You have Blackbeard. And that's all fine and dandy. So if Luffy can have his, subordinates deal with, the Yonko subordinates, that leaves Luffy and the main crew to deal with the main crew of Kaido or Big Mom or whoever. However, do you think Monkey D. Luffy can beat a Yonko in single combat? Do you think Monkey D. Luffy could beat Mihawk in single combat? Do you think Monkey D. Luffy could beat an Admiral in single combat? Do you think Monkey D. Luffy could beat Don Quixote do Flamingo in single combat without any form of assistance? So no Gats coming in there to stall for time so he can recover his arm in hockey. No Law coming in there and obliterating Flamingo's internal organs as a means of, wounding him and slowing him down. Now, me personally, the answer to all four of these is no. No, he can't. So, if he can't beat a Yonko in single combat, if he can't beat an Admiral in single combat, what's the point of having your boys take on the subordinates when at the end of the day, it's like 5,600 ants up against a fucking lion? The lion will mow them down. They're not ready. They're not ready. The subordinates of Whitebeard were able to tangle with admirals. The subordinates of Whitebeard, Marco, Jozu, potentially they could probably take on Flamingo in single combat. I'm not saying that they'll win. Marco, you can debate, because Marco's ridiculous with his powers. Freaking heal from anything. It's like, goddamn, dude. But you get my point here. You get my point here. Luffy is not ready, combat-wise, to deal with Yonko. Potentially, this could be useful for, like, other things. Like, let's say that they gotta deal with, like, let's say, someone like Jack, who apparently is someone that is kind of big on One Piece, but he's never been shown at all. But people are hyped for Jack. Let's say that Jack is not as strong as a Yonko, but he's as strong as Admiral, some shit like that. They can have this whole system to deal with Jack and his boys. Okay, fine. That actually kind of works. However, to deal with the Yonko, you're much better off with having an alliance. An alliance of people that are as powerful as you. You see, the way I see it is that Bartolomeo, Hydrudin, Olympus, none of these top dudes within the Straw Hat Armada are as strong as Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. So, you're better off teaming up with other captains like Kid, Apu, Hawkins, Law, and then deal with Yonko in that fashion. And even still, if a Yonko could lose to an alliance, if a Yonko can lose, if, like, for example, if Law and Luffy and, let's say, I'll throw in, like, you know, Hawkins and Apu and Kid. If they can beat Kaido as a team, then I don't think a Yonko is worthy of the hype that they've gotten. Everyone that I've talked to is saying that Kid, Hawkins, and Apu, they're fucked. Kaido is fucking them up. Why would it matter if you add on Luffy and Law? It wouldn't matter much at all. Because as far as we know, their powers are comparable. And Kaido is just on a whole new level. I want to see Luffy be able to tango. At least tango and bring an Admiral at least to a near... Like I want to say like a near-death state, but severely wounded. In single combat. And then maybe we could talk about Luffy actually utilizing this to his advantage against Yonko. So for the time being, I think it's too early because Luffy's not ready yet from a power standpoint. But it does have its ups in other places against weaker opponents and their armies and whatnot. So that I guess works in that sense. So yes, in my opinion, too early from that standpoint because it's pointless. He's not ready yet. That's why I think in the future One Piece there has to be another time skip. I did a video like way back when. I'll put it in the box below as well. I did a video way back when talking about how, in my opinion, there has to be another time skip because Luffy is not ready. He's not fucking ready. So, I mean, considering the fact that he struggled so hard against Flamingo, and that was a team effort against, you know, Law and Luffy against Flamingo. And even still, I don't think he could beat him without Gats coming in there to, you know, help him with the, you know, arm and hockey management, like the time stall, whatever. So that's really it for the last part. And that was the main meat. The other part's very quick because right now I'm bordering on 20 minutes here. Basically, I do like what Fujiwara is doing with the whole, like the whole blind thing. How, like, he took his eyes away because he's seen so many, you know, devastating things, so many cruel things. And yet, he did want to see Luffy because Luffy probably had like a very kind face, a very pleasant face, someone that could actually motivate the people in such a way, and you know, so basically that was very cool. Though I was not a fan at all of Fujiwara not using the fucking debris. I was like, oh yeah, I was fucking salivating like, yeah, debris. But no, that didn't happen at all. So that sucked massively. But overall, the chapter, because I mean, the fight in of itself was actually pretty. Luffy is naive as fuck, alright? I'll keep it that simple, alright? Fujitora laughed in his face for a good goddamn reason. Like, really? Really? Like, yes, that's the way it should be, dude. Like, come on now, Luffy. Come the fuck on now. Really? Mr. Anti-Hero. Come on, Luffy. Come on, Monkey D. So, the chaptering overall, I thought it was a great chapter in One Piece. A great plus chapter, 8.5. I thought it was a great point. I thought it was a great chapter in One Piece. At least. Because it does help the story for the future. If Luffy accepts, Luffy is going to have a lot of assets. If Luffy accepts, he will have a lot of assets at his disposal. No doubt about it. But the overall end goal of these assets is limited because the character, Monkey D. Luffy, is limited from a combat standpoint. He can only go so far himself. At the end of the day, it comes down to him. So this whole parent-child relationship, you know, him being the father of the crew, so like Whitebeard, basically, Whitebeard, father, Oyaji, Luffy, father, senpai. The whole thing here is that it's nice for the time being, but if you want to actually tangle with Yonko, Luffy has to work on himself from a power standpoint. He can't be struggling with freaking Don Flamingo. Honestly, if Luffy wants to tangle with Yonko, he should not have struggled with someone like Don Flamingo in single combat when he was wounded already, severely, via organ destruction by law. Just saying. Just saying. So, that's it. I'm done. So, chaptering overall is going to be a great plus. And I will see you guys later. Rate the video, comment, subscribe. Have a nice one.